You know that thing people do after stepping on the scale. They take off their socks, they weigh themselves again, maybe after going to the bathroom, maybe after the gym, maybe after drinking absolutely no water for 12 hours, as if 3 ounces somehow changed the story. And then one day, something strange happens. You step on the scale, you see the number, and instead of immediately calculating how far you still have to go, you smile, because for the first time, the process feels real. Most people think this moment happens when they lose 30 pounds or 50 or when they finally reach their goal weight. But for a surprising number of people, the first real shift happens much earlier, around 10 pounds. Now, 10 pounds isn't a magic number. Your metabolism doesn't suddenly double, and your body doesn't unlock some hidden fat-burning mode. But something extremely important does happen. For many people, 10 pounds is the first amount of weight loss that becomes impossible to ignore. And once that happens, the rules begin to change. I'm Coach Ryan, and I spend way too much time thinking about exercise, behavior change, and why some people lose weight once and keep it off while others lose the same 10 pounds over and over again for 20 years. When you imagine successful weight loss, what do you see? A fitness influencer. Perfect lighting. Meal prep containers, six-pack abs, somebody eating chicken and broccoli 7 days a week, because that's the image most of us are sold, and honestly, that's exactly the problem. The fitness industry sells you the finish line, the transformation photo, the six-pack, the after, because the destination is easy to market. But your brain doesn't care about your goal weight. Your brain cares about evidence before you've lost any weight. Evidence is exactly what you don't have. Every workout feels optional. Every healthy meal feels like a sacrifice. Every craving feels important. Every bad day feels like proof that this doesn't work for you. Psychologists have a term called self-efficacy. It's simply your belief that your actions can produce the result you want. And when that belief is low, everything feels harder. Not because you're lazy, not because you lack discipline. Your brain is asking a very simple question: is this actually worth it? Until that question gets answered, every decision costs energy. Now here's something interesting. Major health organizations consider losing just 5 to 10% of body weight clinically meaningful. For somebody who weighs 200 pounds, that's roughly 10 to 20 pounds. Not 50. Not perfection. 10. Because even moderate weight loss is associated with improvements in blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, and joint stress. And this is where people completely misunderstand progress. The first 10 pounds don't completely change your body, they change your expectations. Your clothes fit differently. Walking feels easier. Stairs become less annoying. You recover better, you move differently. And perhaps most importantly, you stop wondering whether change is possible for you because now you have proof. Think about pushing a stalled car. The first few feet are terrible. You push and nothing happens. You push harder and still nothing happens. But eventually the wheels begin moving, and suddenly the exact same effort produces more movement. The force didn't change. The conditions did. Weight loss often feels exactly like this. The first 10 pounds aren't just fat loss, they're the moment the wheels begin turning. And here's something most people never realize. The second 10 pounds often feels completely different. Not necessarily faster, but easier. Because for the first time, your habits are doing part of the work for you. You're no longer building the system, you're running the system. You know what breakfast looks like, you know which foods keep you full, you know how to recover from a bad weekend, you know what happens when you skip sleep. The gym isn't intimidating anymore. Walking doesn't feel like exercise. Protein isn't confusing. Behavior scientists call this automaticity. Repeated behaviors require less conscious effort. Most people simply call it a habit. And habits are dramatically easier to maintain than decisions because making the same decision every day is exhausting, while living the same routine is not. But here's where most people make a massive mistake, and honestly, I see this all the time. People lose 10 pounds, celebrate for 2 weeks, and then spend the next 6 months trying to lose the exact same 10 pounds again. They celebrate, they relax. They stop paying attention, they take a break. They reward themselves by returning to the exact habits that made them unhappy in the first place, and within a few weeks they're right back where they started. The first 10 pounds become proof that they can lose weight instead of proof that they should continue. Imagine saving money for the first time in your life. You build an emergency fund, you prove to yourself that you can save, and then you immediately spend all of it because you succeeded. That would sound ridiculous, but people do this with weight loss constantly. The first 10 pounds are not the reward. They're infrastructure, they're the foundation, they're evidence. Most people think they need more motivation. What they usually need is more evidence because evidence changes behavior far more effectively than motivation. Here's another thing that changes. You stop obsessing over tiny decisions. Should I eat rice or potatoes? Is fruit too sugary? Should I eat after 8 p.m.? Do I need the perfect workout plan? Most of these questions barely matter. The things that actually move the needle are surprisingly boring. Sleep, protein, movement, strength training, and consistency. Not supplements, not detoxes, not fat burners, not perfect meal timing, not the workout split that some influencer swears changed his life. The fitness industry makes money selling complexity. Your body usually rewards consistency, and those are very different things. People who get results become extremely good at identifying what matters and ignoring what doesn't, because once you've experienced progress, you stop chasing magic and start building systems. And that may be the biggest shift of all. Before 10 pounds, you're trying to lose weight. After 10 pounds, you've been walking, exercising, eating differently, and you've lost some weight. That's not just language. Identity influences behavior. People who see themselves as physically active often find it easier to continue those behaviors over time. Not because motivation suddenly appears, but because behavior becomes consistent with identity. Now let me tell you something that might surprise you. Most people spend more years trying to lose weight than it would actually take to lose it. They restart every Monday, every January, every vacation, every stressful month, every birthday. They spend years standing at the starting line. And sometimes the only difference between the people who continue and the people who quit is one thing: evidence, 10 pounds. Not because 10 pounds changes your body, but because 10 pounds changes the story. Before, can I actually do this? After, I've already done it. And those are two completely different questions. Your body changes slowly, your expectations change faster, and sometimes the first 10 pounds are simply the moment your brain finally catches up with your effort. Because once the evidence becomes impossible to ignore, you stop asking whether the process works and start asking how far it can take you. And that's when the rules begin to change. I'm Coach Ryan, and I'll see you in the next one.